Okay, take 3.
Be so critical.
So I'm self-critical. I guess my phone wasn't attached to the Wi-Fi, even though the Wi-Fi was on and all that. So let's try this one more time. Welcome to this episode of PROPER-GANDER. It's your boy Rob, and PROPER-GANDER is a web series brought to you by the Black Hammer organization, where we review multiple pieces of imperialist propaganda, aka whatever is on at the theaters or video games or whatever capitalists are pushing down your throat at any given moment. We review that through an anti-colonial, anti-imperialist, and anti-capitalist mind frame. You dig? Thanks for the review, DP. So, Black Hammer, although we have many web series, you can catch us on Sunday for the book trap, where we're analyzing a particular book. This month's book is How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. On top of having web series like the Oh My Ghazi Morning Show and stuff like that, we also have a bunch of on-the-ground movements, being amongst the people, providing services for the people, because that's really what we're about at our core. Right now, we have the Black Hammer Food Drive in the ATL coming up the 28th. That's Cash App. All these Cash Apps are in the comment section pinned, and so we have the Black Hammer Food Drive for ATL, the Black Hammer Clothes Drive, East Coast, the Black Hammer Clothes and Hygiene, Orlando, and the hashtag POG rally, that is Protect Our Girls rally, at Monday, 10 a.m., Decatur, Alabama. So, that being said, you know we got boots on the ground, you know how we doing it. Today we are reviewing a critically acclaimed movie by the name of Uncut Gems, starring Adam Sandler. And a lot of people ask me, like, why are you sitting here analyzing movies, or, you know what I'm saying, talking about video games, when you could be talking about Marx and Lenin and talking about Mao and do like current events and stuff like that. And I'm not opposed to doing that eventually. Don't need, so we can make that happen. But I just gotta say this: PROPER-GANDER is a web series where we meet the people. Ain't nobody gonna be reading your 3-page Maoist thesis on whatever the hell. No one from the hood is doing that. What I'm doing is taking media that people actually engage with, you know what I'm saying? Watching movies, playing video games, that's something that all we do. So we can talk about it, and through this platform, I can interpret it in a radical kind of lens and bring a kind of consciousness to the people, agitate and propagate. And that is no small task. Because even Malcolm X, and this is a quote from Malcolm X, says, "The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent." And that's power, because they control the minds of the masses. So that's Malcolm X. So understanding the media's power, we created PROPER-GANDER to analyze it and expose the vicious, capitalist, disgusting media, or disgusting like political lines that are in this kind of media, that are in your favorite video games, in your favorite movies. And sometimes I like doing my favorite stuff. If y'all see my Code Geass review, I love Code Geass, but I did not like this fucking movie. And it's crazy because I went to work and everyone's just talking about how good it is. Oh my God, this is like a critically acclaimed movie. You know what I'm saying? Critics are raving. Adam Sandler's performance was so brilliant. Blah, 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 blah. And I saw it, and it really ain't all that. So let's just get into it. So, a brief synopsis of this movie. While wearing a commie hat, bro, all day. So, Uncut Gems is a crime comedy drama directed by Josh and Benny Safdie, which are like two brothers. It's set in the Diamond District of New York City. The story follows Howard Ratner, played by Adam Sandler, who is a jewelry dealer to the rich and famous with a gambling addiction. While trying to handle two relationships, and he's indebted to some sort of like mob entity, he makes sense of a series of high stakes bets, and it could lead to his like him hitting the big time. You feel me? But in order to do that, he got to perform lots of like a high wire act balancing business, family, and encroaching like capitalist adversaries, in his relentless pursuit of the ultimate win. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is a gambling addict. He sells jewelry to like the richest people. You feel me? And he's always betting the money that he makes, and pretty much putting himself and his family in danger. This dude is like constantly like cheating on his family, and it's really gross. Like this character is so off-putting. Like I couldn't even really like get into this movie just because there was no like dope characters that I can root for, you know? So pretty much the story starts when he's doing a deal for Kevin Garnett, and he gets this opal from Africa. It's like this uncut gem. It's like a opal with like kind of like rocks into it or whatever, and it's supposed to be like $1 million. And he lets Kevin Garnett hold it for a little bit, and he then has to like chase down Kevin Garnett. He owes the mob money. He gets into it with like some pawn shop people, and it's this whole mess, but it's all his fault. So it's just like you're just watching this white dude make terrible decisions. So two scenes particularly that I thought were particularly propagandistic. So if that's a word, don't care if it's a word or not though. And 20 seconds into the movie, you pretty much are taken to what they say is Ethiopia, right? And you see a bunch of Africans like carrying like a wounded African. His whole leg is just like completely like split open, right? And the African is screaming, and like all his coworkers are they're obviously like working like the mines or something. They're all angry, and they're going to what seems like the overseers, like their boss of the mines, and they're all Asian. All of their bosses are Asian, and this is supposed to be in Ethiopia, right? So they're getting up in harm's way, and that's when the camera kind of goes into like the caves they were mining in, and that's where they find the opal, signifying that like to get that opal, you need to shed blood. Everybody knows about like the blood diamonds, right? When you have a blood diamond, it comes with like 8-year-olds who have to take sticks of dynamite to like caves, and like they blow their arms off. It's like a vicious industry. But that is honestly the case with many of the minerals that the first world enjoys. The minerals in my phone right now, they all come from a similar kind of like extortion of colonized people, African people, South Asian people, or Asian people, South American people. They all have that. They all kind of have that relationship of like you have to enslave somebody to get that stuff, right? But what I found that's weird is they're in Africa, and they have all these Asian bosses, right? So I had like this kind of argument with my coworker, because I told him about that, and he was like, "Well, China is in Africa, so it's kind of realistic that they're there and they're exploiting Africans or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, bet, for sure, but if anyone is the oppressor in Africa, it is the fucking European. It is the fucking European. The whole fucking continent was colonized by European powers. You know what I'm saying? What we know as South Africa used to be called Azania. You know what I mean? That's a settler colony. And I bring that up because the director said that they were not allowed to shoot in Ethiopia. They were not allowed to shoot the scene that they wanted in Ethiopia. The U.S. government told them they can't. And the damn director said that himself, right? So where they went was actually South Africa in a place called Okeep. So I look at the population of Okeep, and the population of Okeep is like 0.03 Asian, right? So they must have made a decision to be like, yo, let's make all the masters Chinese. Let's make all the bosses Chinese. And that's just because they're like internalizing the propaganda that the US promotes, that China is a colonizing force in Africa. Now we're gonna get heavy. China is fucking an imperialist force in Africa, 100%. Sorry, leftists. That's just how it is. However, what the U.S. is doing is just kind of like passing the buck. They're acting like they aren't the main colonizing force in Africa. It's the Chinese. Y'all feel me? Because they must have just been like, look, we need like 10 or 13 Asians to shoot this shot, because ain't no motherfucking Asians in South Africa, bruh. It's 0.03%. If you don't believe me about Africa or US's footprint in Africa, just look up AFRICOM, like, please, or look up the history of that the US has with fucking Africa. So I found that pretty propagandistic, and it's obviously like a kind of like pushing the buck onto Asian people or Chinese people. And I don't want to be like those other leftists. Like, Chinese people are 100% a imperialist force in Africa. If y'all want me to have that discussion, y'all let me know in the comments. I'm gonna break it down, but I know that like leftists like love talking that shit about that particular subject, like China and Africa. But in terms of this movie, the other scene that I thought was propagandistic, there's a scene later in the movie, right, where, you know what I'm saying, Kevin Garnett, he wants the raw opal, right? And he's sitting down talking to Adam Sandler like, bro, why you playing with me? Every time I step in here, it's a whole mess, bro. Why can't you just be straight up with me? What's going on? Why are you so shady? Blah, blah, blah. And Adam Sandler's kind of like covering his tail. He's like, nah, it's not like that. And KG asked him, he's like, how did you get this diamond? How did you get this diamond? And he shows him a video, the same video that I just spoke to, where like it's like exploited Africans digging in the mine, and he's like, yeah, I pretty much paid them like $6,000. KG's like, damn, $6,000? But you told me that you're gonna make millions. How is that fair? And the like Adam Sandler was just like, he gave him this kind of like dog eat dog response. He was like, oh, you know how you play ball, KG? Doesn't it feel great to just like dunk on somebody? Doesn't it feel great to be the champ over all these people? Well, that's how I feel when I make this money. That's how I feel exploiting these motherfucking Africans. He says, this is how I win. This is my sport. You feel me? And that's just a way to, like, that's just how every fucking Ajane Perry, that's exactly what it is. He's like, that's how America works. Right. That's the kind of value they're trying to instill in you. It's just like, man, that's dog eat dog. It's just like that. There's like another scene, if I can like jump real quick, where Kevin Garnett is looking into the opal, right? And then you see through his perspective, and inside the opal, it looks like the universe. You dig? Like, it looks like a fucking galaxy in there. So I looked it up, and to them, to the directors, they said that the opal represents the law of the universe. They said it represents the circle of life. So with that metaphor being there, with the opal representing like the universe and circle of life, what they're saying is that this kind of relationship is natural. This kind of exploitive relationship where you could pay somebody like $6 and make like $10 million off that, that's natural. That's what they're trying to say with the whole like universe and shit like that. But it's not. It's not. That's not how we existed as humans for like the majority of our history. This is like something that's like brand new. That's something that the Europeans came in. This kind of like exploitive relationship is strictly under the capitalist framework. Somebody block Willie James, please. So yeah, that kind of back and forth with KG and Adam Sandler, that's pretty much like the theme of it all. Like you go around like you follow Adam Sandler. He's like cheating on his wife. He owes like money to the mob. You know what I'm saying? He like makes fun of his jits. He don't be going to his like daughter's shows and shit. He's not like a family man. He don't care about his family. All he cares about himself and money, right? And there are scenes where like he's with his side bitch and he's like crying and he's like, man, things ain't really going about how I wish they was going. And people are like sympathetic to that character, but it's like, dude, you're a douche. You're a fucking asshole. Like, there's no way that I can feel bad for you. You literally are okay with exploiting African people, like this whole violent process of extorting their natural resources of their lands to make millions, while they're over here working just to eat. You're over here working to like be on a yacht and all that crazy shit. You know? It's bullshit. So that's how I interpret it. Like that's like the rest of the movie can be pretty much put in that nutshell, you know? There's the character Arno, right? Who he's thugging it. He got his goons. Adam Sandler owe him money, you feel me? And they make it seem like Arno is the bad guy. Like he's like mobbing. Like that's what it is. And he's like beating Adam Sandler up. He like took off his clothes, put him in the trunk. You feel me? And like it's framed like Arno is the bad person, but really Adam Sandler is the bad person because Arno just wants what he deserves. Like Adam Sandler owes him money, so really Adam Sandler is playing with him. Like Adam Sandler is bitching him out. Excuse my like misogynist language, or like, but like on some street shit, like you know how it go. Like if you owe somebody money, don't be playing with them. Like pay what you owe. Sometimes Adam Sandler will actually have the money in hand and then just bet it. So you'll see time and time again the character Arno he has patience. Like he tells him over and over again, like, where's my money? Where's my money? And then Adam Sandler has it, then bets it off. Where's my money? Where's my money? He roughs him up a bit. But like he don't even kill him. Even right at the end, where Adam Sandler puts him in like this kind of he has them cornered, let's say that. And he's watching the game that he has a whole bunch of money on. If he wins the bet on the game, he's a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? And he has the intent to pay Arno back. Even while he's in a cage, when Adam Sandler wins that game, damn, spoiler alert, I should have been said spoiler alert. But when Adam Sandler wins that game, Arno had all intentions to let it go as long as he's getting his money. What ended up happening though is one of his goons ended up shooting Adam Sandler straight in the face as soon as he got free. Straight in the face, even though his boss had every intent of just making it cool, you know? And then that same goon turns around and shoots Arno. You feel me? And eventually, like, the camera, like, zooms into Adam Sandler's face in that scene where he has, like, a whole bullet hole in his head. And then it goes straight back to that universe shit. Like, when you go, it, like, zooms into the damn bullet hole. And then it's like looking into the opal. It's like full circle. We've come full circle now. So now you're seeing, like, the universe. So what they're saying is like, that's how it go. Like, this person is super bad, but it's supposed to be like cosmic justice. Like, he got his karma, or most people would think that he got his karma. But any rational thinking person knows that that's bullshit. Like, there is no justice in that. There is no justice in that. Like, the people who he harmed are still harmed. The people in Africa who he stole that fucking diamond from are still oppressed. Like, there is no fucking justice. But, like, they present it as like, this is nature. This is how nature sorts it all out. Y'all follow me? Black Power, Kimya. Willie James, oh fuckboy ass. But anyway, yeah. So, bottom line, Uncut Gems, it's supposed to make you feel sympathetic to a fucking horrible, terrible, degenerate person. A capitalist. A exploiter of African people. A womanizer, someone who doesn't even provide for their family. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to come down full circle. It's supposed to be just because he died in pretty much a random act of violence. But in that same act of violence, Arno died too. And Arno just wanted his own just desserts. Arno was just the realest dude in this movie. So the theme is that, like, the universe will all sort it out. And that's just some, like, bullshit, like, hippy-dippy, liberal-ass kind of way of thinking. That, like, karma will come and get you. Karma is thousands of years late. Karma is 500 years late. Karma should have came when the first colonizer stepped foot on Africa and enslaved the Africans. You know what I'm saying? If we are going to have justice, we as a people need to deal justice. We need to deal with people like Adam Sandler in this motherfucking movie. You know what I'm saying? We need to deal with the Chinese exploiters in Africa, as well as the American ones. You know, justice doesn't look like just somebody dying in, like, a random acts of violence. Like, everyone has to be addressed. Everyone has to get theirs. What had been lost. So yeah, that's my review on motherfucking Uncut Gems. Personally, didn't care for that movie. Like I said, ain't nobody that I really fuck with except maybe Arno. And, you know, there's like this other thing. I don't know if this is about propaganda, but I feel like there's like a whole kind of industry in movies that, because we are so used to, like, this fucking, like, $1 million budget movies like the Avengers and all that stuff, there's, like, movie cinema, like, styles that are supposed to replicate, like, a low fidelity, like a low budget movie. And I feel like that's what Studio A24 is. Like, they pretend that they're low budget. They have, like, this indie kind of style to their films, but realistically they're, like, owned by Amazon. Like, there's nothing indie about it. They're just, like, selling you this, like, fake ass indie aesthetic, or, like, a fake ass, like, do it yourself aesthetic. And I feel like that's why the movie is so popular, because amidst all the movies like Transfucking-Formers or The Avengers or all those, like, $1 million superhero movies, like, that's like a market in and of itself. But they still have, like, the same capitalist themes and all that shit in their movies. So yeah, wouldn't recommend this one. Black power to all my comrades. Fuck Willie James. I love socialism. Fuck capitalism. All day. Black power.